Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here. Welcome back to Union Cross. We're going to be talking about version 3.2.0. I'm going to go through everything really quickly, and near the end of the video, I'm just going to give my a little opinion on a couple of things here and there. But basically, this is going to be a quick breakdown of what's to come to global. Once it does come to global, I'll give a clearer picture of what's happening. I tried to load my JP account and I lost it, so I can't show you everything, but I'm going to show you some things because I started another JP account just so I have the information there. So let's jump in and let's look at what's happening. So this is version 3.2.0. The first thing is a new function called spirit training. I'm going to go over this in detail. This is probably the biggest thing in here that I'm most excited for, and also have a couple of things I want to talk about. Battle speed up function. We're going to start with that, and I do have that ready to go over here. So battle speed up function. So as you can see, I'm in a quest right now. I'm walking around, doing my thing. You can see the character speed. If you click on your info or your pause button, you can raise the field from ×1, 2 to 3. Same thing with battle, ×1, 2, and 3. So then when I close this, now we're Sonic. Now we're Sonic. So this applies to everything except for Union Cross, because Union Cross is a live multiplayer. And you can see the battle animation is a lot quicker. This applies to raid bosses, PvP, proud mode, story mode, everything except for Union Cross itself. Obviously, I'm a weakling right now and I can't do this, so I just died. But you can see this is probably one of my favorite parts of this update. This way we're not spending like 10 minutes in PvP. It feels like that sometimes. So PvP is going to go by really quickly. Raiding is going to be quicker now. I actually might start raiding just because of that. It takes way too long to raid, and I know you can just like push the phone to the side. But it's really nice to see that we have the ×2, ×3 going on here, especially for the stuff that just takes a little too long. I know that sounds bad, because if you enjoy a game, you want to play for more time, but in this sense, there's some things that are just farming that you want to get out of the way as soon as possible. So it's really nice to see that. So that is the first part. We're going to talk about what else we have. There's a couple cool things here like that I really enjoy. So the next thing they added is additional jewel purchase benefits. So if you purchase jewel pack F, you're going to get double the daily mission reward. So instead of getting 300 jewels per day, they'll get 600 jewels per day. And this lasts until the end of the month of that jewel pack purchase. Also, spirit training medal, you're going to get extra frame for spirit training. So you can train up to 2 medals per 20 hours now. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in detail when we go back to the spirit training altogether. Next up, we have Super Burst Upward Revision. So all your Super Burst and your Nova activations will actually have -60 ground and aerial. So no more seeing 1 damage because your medal lacks that trait. Your medal can have no traits at all. Every Supernova activation and Nova itself will do damage from this point on, which is really nice to see. Well, depending on the enemy, right? Even -60 medals sometimes don't crack through. Depends how high in Coliseum and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. So the next part looks like gibberish, but again, thanks to Roboloid, if I haven't said it already, he had it all translated and good to go. Basically, this is pretty much a little bit of adjustments they did. Starting off with moving the raid bosses to the rescue menu. It's not going to be in your main story quest anymore. Evolving medals now shows how the super burst would change on the evolution screen. And then you also got adjust the amount of lux drop from some enemies. I don't know if it went higher or lower. I don't know if it's from special quests, but they adjusted some lux farming on a couple of enemies there. All right, spirit training. This is the biggest one that's going to be on everyone's radar. The ×2 speed and all that. That's all like just bonus stuff, extra things here and there. But now we get into this new system called spirit training. So your pet can train your medals. Every medal can hold 1 trait on it, and you can reroll traits depending from this list. So it's a bigger list, but it's free, and it happens every 20 hours. So how this works, and I wish I had my account to show you guys, is when you click on the pet, you're going to have the pet training section that shows 1, 2, 3, and 4 medal slots. You're only going to have 1 activated as a free-to-play player, or 2, depending if you pull 5 times for a certain banner. As long as the banner is a 10 mercy pull, or sorry, not a mercy pull, a 10 pull, if you pull 5 times from that banner, you'll have a second slot unlocked for 72 hours. The other 2 slots are unlocked by purchasing the Jewel Pack F or buying VIP. That way you can have all 4. VIP obviously lasts until the end of the week. If you buy the Jewel Pack F, you'll have it for the entire month you bought that Jewel Pack. And like I said, if you pull 5 times from a banner, you'll have it for 3 days, 72 hours. Now, none of those stack. You can't just add more time on top of those. When you pull 5 times on a banner, if you pull again 5 times immediately, it will not add to the 72 hours. 72 hours has to run out before you pull 5 more times, so be careful with that. If you buy Jewel Pack F, it will not stack over to the next month. It only counts for that one specifically. And of course, VIP is VIP. You can only buy it once. So the main thing here is as a player who just got it, you're going to see that you're going to have one slot activated. You can drag any medal into that slot and roll a trait. Once you roll that trait from this list, and there's really good traits here, but the one I recommend the most, obviously, is going to be extra attack with 120% power, not 40%. This extra attack is actually going to do more damage than the attack itself, which is really cool. That means everybody who got extra attack plus 40% on their medals, if you get this, you want to replace that with the plus 1000 immediately. So everybody get ready to roll traits like crazy. There's a 0.2% chance of that showing up. So if you do get that, you're super lucky. That's the one I recommend pretty much everything when it comes to this game. Unless you're raiding, you get extra 100% to 10% and 20 and 30. You get one of these on your medal. Every medal can only hold one of these traits, just one. Out of this entire list, the medal can only keep one of them. So where you know how like traits we have right now, we have some medals that can hold 3, 4, 5. That's completely separate. This is going to have its own little section. Only one trait of the pet training. So you also get attack plus 2,000, 500, 400, 200, 100, or 50. You got defense traits here. You got ground enemy defense negative 20%. I'm going to talk about it in more detail. You got ability gauge maximum plus 3, 2, 1, HP, poison resistance up to 100%, sleep 100, and paralysis 100, which is really cool. Sorry, paralysis looks like it is, that should be 100. It's a little spaced out weird. But anyways, so the main things here to note is there's 3 of these traits that do not stack with the current traits from the medal. So like we talked about, medals have 5 traits, 3 traits. If you already have extra attack and 40%, it will not stack with this extra attack 120%. You'll only do one extra attack. That one will take priority. Same thing with negative 60 ground and aerial for 20%. It will not stack with your 60%. 60 will take priority if there's 60 on the medal already. Even though you have a 60 there and a 20 in the pet training, it will not make 80. Now, the only benefit of this ground negative 20 here is if you have a high score challenge medal or a medal that doesn't have a bunch of traits, you can't re-roll it because it was a limited time medal. Here's a chance of trying to make it a little bit decent at least. So that's the only benefit of seeing the negative 60, 20 there, because if anything, you should be getting the negative 60s on your actual trait rolls from fusing medals together. The pet training, this is more for unique medals or medals that just didn't have it. So the big things here, guys, is an extra attack. The attack plus 2,000 is pretty good if your medal already has 40% while you're waiting for extra attack 120. But once you get that 120, you want to replace the extra attack on the medal itself. It's a lot of RNG on top of RNG, but honestly, it's nice that this is free. It happens every 20 hours. So let me explain a little bit better. Once you put a medal into a slot and you push training, it's going to have a cooldown of 20 hours. So you can't train that medal or any medal for 20 hours. The slot's locked down and you can't put nothing there. You can purchase a reset for 200 jewels, 500 jewels, 500, 1,000, 2,000. This will reset every end of the week. It'll go back down to 200. But if you want to reset that 20-hour counter, you can purchase more resets immediately for these amount of jewels: 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, and it'll be 2,000 from that point on. It won't be more than 2,000 for every 20 hours that you want to skip. And then end of the week, it'll go back down to 200, so you can do that all over again. So if you do have jewels and you want to train over and over and over again, you're basically paying 2,000 jewels per reroll once you do it 5 times, or it might be 2, 5, 5, 1, 1, but I don't know if that's a translation, but just to reroll a free trait. Just be patient and just keep re-rolling one medal. Now, the whole thing of the extra slots, like we were talking about, one for VIP, one for purchasing 5 pulls, one for doing the purchase of the Jewel Pack F, that can put 1 medal in each slot. Once you do that, you can roll 4 medals at a time. If you put 1 medal into the slot and then you push roll, and you had all 4 of them unlocked, it will lock all 4 of them. So make sure if you have more than 1 slot unlocked to roll multiple medals at once. So grab your Axel, grab your Sephiroth, grab your Final Fantasy Record Keeper Lightning, grab whatever you want, and make sure each slot that's activated has a medal in it, because once you click training, all of that shuts down for 20 hours, or you push 200 jewels, 500,000, 2,000, and you can reset it and do it again. But that's the only benefit, is that you can train 4 medals at a time if you do all the conditions. If anything, you have 1 guaranteed every 20 hours. Now, this is pretty much of the whole update, and from this point on, I'm just going to give you my little opinion on all of this, of what I feel and how I feel about all the comments I've been seeing. I'm going to talk about all that right now. So, from what I see on this is that people who pay for the game have a lot more coming their way, which again, if they're paying for the game, they should be getting something back for it. Now, I know people can just buy jewel packs over and over again, and that's pretty much good enough, but the jewel pack prices are kind of ridiculous. Seeing all these extra benefits in there is really nice. Like if you buy the Jewel Pack F, you get 600 jewels per day for your dailies. You get an extra slot for training, which is not super important, but it just speeds up the process of waiting. That's like the whole patience game. Like I told you guys before, you can farm a bunch of Huey, Dewey's, Louie's, Magic Mirrors, all that, or not Magic Mirrors, Fantasia Mickey A's. You can farm all of that over time, or you buy VIP and do that really good extravaganza VIP farming where you get everything at once. VIP is usually a way to speed up the process. If you miss some days, if you do some dailies, it helps you speed up to get to the point of maximum faster. Now, seeing the extra benefits here is really nice. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, they got screwed over because they're free to play. In all honesty, guys, when it comes to free to play and whales, the only concern here is PvP and a little bit of Coliseum. Coliseum, yes, you get skills, so of course whales are going to dominate top places, but when you really look at it, you're still going to be able to hit 10,000 as a free-to-play player. When it comes to PvP, of course, people who pay for the game are going to be dominant. That's the point. If that wasn't the case, then what would be the point of paying for the game? And if nobody pays for the game's not going to be... It's not going to happen. No one's going to run it. They're not going to run servers for free, so there is people that pay for the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. But PvP is the biggest aspect when it comes to paying for this game. And in all honesty, when a free-to-play player goes, oh, I can't beat the whales in PvP, you shouldn't be able to. You can't borrow your mom's station wagon and face someone's Lamborghini or Ferrari or any expensive car at a drag race and expect to win. They paid for what they have. They have the money to do it. If you don't have money and you borrow your mom's cars for a drag race, expect to lose. It is the same thing in this game. If someone pays, they should be more powerful than everyone. Now, it's pay versus pay when it comes to that, and that is that own section. No one should be judged for paying for a game. If someone's paying for the game, it's because they have the money for it. We can go into the whole concept of, yeah, this is basically a game of gambling. It's like a slot machine online, and that's technically true. It does play with you to the point of it makes it addicting to pull because you want perfect traits. Now you want perfect traits every 20 hours. There's so many signs here of gambling. Yes, you have to be careful. If you're someone who needs a little bit of help on gambling, this isn't the game you should be in. But everyone who does pay for jewels currently and the whales, they most likely can afford it. So they're the reason the servers are still up. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, the reason I bring this up is because this update really makes it look like the whales have everything. And yeah, they kind of do. But at the same time, if you take away all of that and just look at it for what it is for the update says here, we can train 1 medal every 20 hours. That means a free trait. We got a free trait. The game's not asking us to buy anything. The game's not telling you you have to pay 500 jewels to train your medal every 20 hours. It's saying to you, put a medal into the pet training slot and you get one of these traits. If you don't get what you want, you can retrait that one for 20 hours. Paying just gets you extra slots for other medals so you can train 4 medals at a time. If you want to pay more than that, you can reset that with jewels so you don't have to wait 20 hours. So obviously the whales are going to get the best traits if they just want to keep rolling and rolling and rolling. But I'm pretty sure at that point too, they're going to know their limits. 2,000 jewels per reset is expensive, especially when you have a huge list here. That extra attack is only at a 0.2%. It's probably not going to come up that often. Even attack plus 2,000 is only at 1.4. So there's a limit on everyone, and it's clear. But the whole point here is that we have an ability as a free-to-play player to make our medals stronger. We can't make them as quick as someone who pays for the game, but no one's forcing you to pay for the game. Nobody's forcing you. If you're saying, well, I can't compete with the whales in PvP, you're not supposed to. Period. You're not supposed to. Now, don't get me wrong. There's also the aspect of RNG. Let's say everybody was on the same terms and it all relied on RNG. That's basically what it is. Even whales rely on RNG. Their Monster Soar procs, their Defense Boost 6 procs, their Combo Pet procs. They got to wait for all of that. There's RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG in this game. And that's what kills it for basically everybody. But the whole aspect of like, this is like very heavy whale intense, just ignore the packs. Don't fall for the extra slots. Just take this as a freebie for every 20 hours. There's both ways to this, guys, and I look at it as, hey, I'm gonna get lucky every 20 hours, because even if I don't get something worthwhile, I'm still getting something for free on my medal, which seems pretty cool to me. It's just going to take a long time. If you guys ever play like games like Clash of Clans or any of those games where you have to build a base, you have to wait like sometimes 7 days just to upgrade a bow to level 3. 20 hours. 20 hours you can replace a trait over and over again for one medal. Seems very long, and it is, but when you think about it, how long people have been playing the game, 20 hours a day is going to fly by pretty quickly. So that is pretty much just my little opinion on this. Yeah, PvP is going to be crazy. The whales are going to be even stronger, but it's not like we ever were in competition with the whales. Yeah, there is some free-to-plays who get ridiculously lucky. They saved up a bunch of jewels, and they pulled at the right time, and they got really good medals, so they're competing for top PvP. But remember, PvP doesn't really give you anything too special. You get fairies that you don't really need these days, and you get Meow Wow tickets, which are needed, but not in a huge demand, not in a huge rush, unless you're constantly pulling tier 9s. So it's not like you have to compete in PvP for the top rankings. It's not going to hurt you too much, especially if you're able to play Coliseum, where you get Meow Wows in there as well. So it's a little bit of how you want to look at the game. Personally, though, I'm going to be pretty happy with this. I know that I'm not going to be making top 500 or 100 anytime soon, but I'm pretty sure my place is going to stay the same in like top 3,000 in PvP, and I'm fine with that. And even if I dropped out, I haven't been really doing much. I know that to me personally, everybody else has a different way. You guys are probably doing worse in PvP, or you are doing good and you're afraid it's going to kick you out, and it might. But again, it's just one aspect of the game, which is PvP, which is supposed to be the most important for a lot of people. But at the same time, there's still the PvE content. And as long as we can pass the PvE content with this update of power, then that's a good thing. So that's pretty much the video. I know I'm going to get a bunch of slack already in the comment section. Every time I try to agree with a couple things they do, people just get mad at me for it. I don't have to be right. This is just how I feel about it. It's the same thing that's always been. Whales dominate. Free-to-play lucky can compete with those whales. Everybody else sits around an average place. That's pretty much how this game is. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm definitely saying there's room for changes for the better, but this is just my feeling on the current update. If you guys did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you want to leave anything down below, I would like to hear what the community has to say. I know already there's going to be half of you guys yelling at me for this, other half like, oh yeah, that's pretty reasonable. But again, at the end of the day, it's how everybody looks at the game. There's different opinions. Just be respectful to everybody, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.